I watched it. It kind of blew my mind a little because I couldn't figure out whether the he that he was talking about was Michael or Obama himself. Because also, if you go by the Q post, it was actually showing that it was Hussein. So that would be Barack. Or is that even his real name? Or Barry Soetoro?
Yeah, we don't know.
And that's it. I didn't, I really like those videos, though. There's so much in them. I need to watch it a couple of times because it just hurts my head. Oh, wow, all right, wow, oh, wow. Holy cow, how does this guy think of this stuff and how does it come out? And he gets it. And once you see it, he shows it to you. It's as if, how come I didn't see that? But
he's a brilliant cipher.
Oh yeah, wow! Blown. I have to watch every. I have them so that every time one comes out, I see it first. Out of everything, and I haven't seen any that weren't really really interesting. I'm interested in how many think that JFK could possibly Junior could be alive and. There's even rumor that others are. I don't know about Michael Hastings there. But I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but there was one of the anonymous group that actually had went to prison. What the heck was his name? But he had gone to prison. They'd locked him up for quite a few years, and he got out, and they pretty much silenced him. You won't hear much of anything from this guy. What is his name? Darn it. Can't think of it. Anyway, but, he was sent, but he came out the other day and was talking about how he was believing that Hastings actually had information that could have helped him. But because Hastings was dead, they were able to arrest him. I think this is just the beginning of all this, though. There's so much that Serial Brain 2 could do. I don't know where to go with it.
He's like an autistic savant on steroids.
Oh, big time. It hurts my mind. I gotta stop it. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
I watch it twice.
Or 3 times or 4 times. I actually download them. I keep them. So
right.
There's a lot I download, but, I have to go back and check them again because sometimes you actually pick up a little piece that you didn't see last time. It's kind of like watching a Star Wars movie,
Okay, so back to the one she's speaking of.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure.
Ask something more specific, Patty.
Well, I don't have anything more specific to ask. I haven't seen the video because I've been offline for so long, so this is news to me. I haven't even seen any of the new Serial Brain since I've been gone. You do know that he is on Reddit and has a lot more in-depth communication there about what he's... he's very religious also. Mm-hmm. So there's a mix of that on the site also.
Yeah. Alert in the chat. Alamedic says, how did a nice love topic and resonance going to be switched to Q and conspiracy crap?
Well, that's what we do here on the Roundtable. It's called the Roundtable, and topics come up and we handle them. We didn't pick the topic; it came to us. Go ahead, Luca.
I just want to add to that. It's kind of cute too because Patty said in the beginning, we don't know. And Patty, when you talk, sometimes it's just a few lines, a few words, just one sentence or two. It throws you off, it throws you back, and you go, You said it twice. You said, we don't know. And that's exactly what it is. They keep us guessing all the time. They want to keep us divided all the time. They're following the protocols of Zion to a T. And I can't add anything to this conversation because that's what I'm trying to stay away from. I'm trying to stay away from sources like that. I'm just going to where my energy takes me, and it's in another direction. So I find it interesting because I think truth is one destination. So I think that the people that are really following truth are going to end up in the same way. They're going to end up in that direction or that destination itself. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's important, though, at this time to say that the times that we live in, that this reality that we are all sharing part in, it's not going away because we decide we don't want to look at it. It will continue on. And I'm not saying that anybody has to look at it. You don't have to. That's the choice that you can make to live in bliss and irrespective of what's going on around you, which is a perfect place to be. It truly is. But if that is not where you're at, it's okay too. So we should be able to look at everything that's going on with an open mind and either say, well, I don't care for that, but go ahead, talk about it. You know, it's the thing of we cannot ever find common ground if we keep drawing the line separating us. See?
Exactly. Exactly. No, you hit the nail on the head. Because let me just add something very quickly. It's that's the definition of intelligence. It's to be able to entertain different thoughts that you might not agree with at all, but at least you're looking at that. No, that's not for me. Next, and that's what you're saying. It's cool.
Well, to bring this together, as I said earlier, follow your heart, but use your head. So at the beginning of the show, the first hour, we expressed in many different ways how love is the answer, love is the energy we need, love is the wolf we need to feed, and either love or anger and hate will each manifest what it's feeding. It's that is the key to the magic, okay? So we have to ground ourselves in love and in the understanding and in truth. So there's a question to bring this around. Gaz has put it up. So by what Serial Brain 2 is suggesting is that celebs and stuff entice dark entities to this realm through sacrifice by use of gematria and tweets and stuff to each other. Sri Lanka suggested was the idea and baby and work of Beyonce is just the messenger. We are in a fight for good. Well, it's good versus evil. It's love and that magic, okay, if you want to use that word. It's that manifesting power, divine ability to stick to truth in what is good for the soul and good for the all, versus the hatred, the anger, the antithesis of love that is there to destroy everything that holds us together, everything that lives. And so you've got the two sides of this. And Serial Brain is one that is helping to decipher what the evil is doing. I'm not putting any names or political sides or anything to this, because it's bigger than that. Just like we are bigger than just one spiritual path, or one race, this tribe of love, of spiritually awakened beings that we all are on one side of this, but they're spiritually awakened to the dark. We also have to know our enemy. So we have to know what they are doing in order to know better how to arm ourselves to fight it. Mm-hmm. When you understand it's not just a political battle, it's not just a race battle, this is a battle for us, for our soul, for our children. It's
definitely for our children. At the very
And so when
least for our children.
Serial Brain's just one that's helping to decipher what they're doing so that we know exactly what we're fighting, and if nothing else, so that we know better how to pray against it, and to stand against it, and to stand for truth, and humanity, and love. No matter your spiritual path, no matter your religious, I should say, no matter religious path, just be on a spiritual path of love. And when you can love yourself and have the respect for yourself, as Lizzie was saying, then you have the confidence, and that confidence shows. It means you stand together stronger.
And
so that's how this all ties together.
Star, it's really cool that you said that, because that's one of the first things that I learned in spirituality is that, when you're at peace with yourself, when you're at peace with yourself and you know who you are, you automatically know what you're attracted to and what you're not attracted to, and the people that are good for you and that aren't. And once you take care of yourself and you learn how to defend yourself from other people's energies and so on, the more the door is open in spirituality, the more Creator comes in. That's what I'm hearing you say. It's really cool.
That's what I hear from her too.
All right, guys. So, if we were to let's do a hypothetical. How about that? If we were to have the ability to change life around us, to bring balance throughout, say, through say, the northern hemisphere. So if we had this ability, we had this power, and it was up to us, and they came to us and they said, okay, what are you going to do to bring us all together? What are you going to do to show us the way toward peace, toward balance, toward love, toward the higher vibration? What could you bring to the table to propose that? What would be the thing that you would think most important to develop within ourselves in order to be able to do that?
I would say, very possibly, compassion is very important. Of course, there is no such thing as being in the love vibration if you don't have compassion, if you don't have the understanding to embrace both sides. You cannot move forward without taking all what is you. Yeah? And all what is you is everything. Yeah? We may be singular drops of water here, talking, sharing, yeah? But we are part of the oneness, yeah? So compassion is very important to bring anything forward, because that is part of the love. But you have to learn compassion, because we have to shed so many layers of that what we were speaking of before. Once you shed those layers, you start embracing compassion. Your love starts flowing. Yeah, those are things that are holding back the flow. Yeah, because you say I love, but then you have things that hold you back in that love. Yeah, you either lack of compassion, understanding. This, that, and the other. Even for yourself, yeah. You always have to start with self. So if you want to make the world a better place, you have always to start with self. So the question you said, what can you bring forward, in this table, is I always would say you have to start with self. If we are this love resonance beings, which we are, but yeah, if we are these love resonance beings, then we also have to understand that the work always starts from within. So it ripples outward. Yeah, we have a thing that is this thyroidic field around us, which is our love vibration. So the more you work on the self, the stronger that becomes. So what your question, Patty, which is a beautiful question, with many answers to it. But for me, what I would say, people can come with many replies, many good, valuable answers, but start from within. You cannot start on anything else until you start from within. You are what moves, yeah? You are that love. Until you are that what moves and you are that love, nothing will change around you. Yeah, because that thyroidic field that you are is measurable and it grows in strength and it grows in power the more you work at you. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if it's north, south, central, whatever. It does not matter. The more of us are working on ourselves, the more of us are working on that beautiful being that we are, the stronger that thyroidic field becomes, the more it ripples out through the planet, the stronger it becomes. If now, for example, which is not the case, but if now every single one of us had that specific thyroidic field finely tuned in the love vibration, it would take but the snip of a finger for the whole thing to whoosh in a instantaneous ripple of intense love to change the whole thing. Yeah, and we'd be like in a wow, amazing freaking paradise.
Indeed.
But we are not there yet, yeah? So we have to be patient with ourselves, yeah? Not beat ourselves up, especially not beat other ones up, but work from within. Work at the self, love the self, shed those layers. If you can't be honest with someone else about who you are, be with yourself. Do mirror work. You don't have to use the mirror if you don't feel comfortable. Do meditation. Shed those layers. Be gentle about it. Because often we want so much to do it right here, right now. Yeah, and that shakes, shaking down the whole core of you is not gentle. It is not going to be helpful because most of us have 1, 2, 3 different kind of traumas. Yeah. So you have to really work on that, and you have to be gentle with self. Be loving with self. Work on the self. Yeah. Improve the self. That thyroidic field, yeah, starts working beautiful. Yeah. Starts expanding more and more. And then all the colors start working. So beautiful, so beautiful. It's so amazing. It's so full of love, and it grows, and it's so stunningly beautiful that there is not a word or a set of words or phrases to explain that. But there are feelings that can be felt about it. Prior to words, we were beings that could speak with one another through feeling love vibration. Yes? It's actually very easy to become that again. Just need to be working on oneself. Thank you. Moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweeties.
Well, we have another wonderful host of People for People Radio that has joined us, and we all love her. She is amazing, Stone Hobbit. And so I'm going to turn it over to her in a sec, but I want to get to some of the comments in the chat to the answer, for the answer of my question. And anyone else who has a suggestion or something that they think would be the important thing to do, please put it in the chat. I would like to hear what you have to say. And okay, let me get down here because the chat just messed up on me and jumped up there. Let me get down here where I need to be. Okay, now, I don't know, Ann James, if you meant to add this comment into the hypothetical question that was asked, but Ann James has put down baby steps. I'm not sure if that goes with it, but I think it is appropriate that sometimes we think that, okay, this is what I got to do. I'm going headlong into it. And we run, you know, and we overtax ourselves and we outrun ourselves, so to speak. So baby steps would be a good thing. Devon Porter says unconditional forgiveness. That with self as well as others is so important. It cannot be stressed how important this is, at least in my experience. To this unconditional thing is not easy. It is not something that you just grab onto and say, hey, it's going to be unconditional. I'm going to deal in unconditional love and forgiveness, and that'll be it. That's not how it goes. This is something that is deep. It is something that one really has to commit to and have a conviction of within oneself. And one has to have that unconditional forgiveness with self before they can ever reach outward. But it's a difficult thing. It's not something that you just say. It's not just a word that happens once you say it. It is a work, and it can be done. But it's not an easy thing. And of course, Troy, he's saying send Big Macs. I don't know if he means that'll help things out or not, but yeah, I put that in for you, Troy. And Laws, I love you, sis. She says embarrassing both sides, knowing we have embracing both sides, knowing we have both within each of us. That is important. We talked about that earlier, how important it is to realize that just because you don't want to have the darkness in your life does not mean that it does not still exist within you. It is part of all life. It is in the control of that darkness that you achieve what you want. Just saying.
Absolutely. That's why I was saying what I was saying, because you cannot leave part of you behind. You know, you have to embrace and you have to be forgiving if you want to use that word, but it's basically about embracing the self, and it's about working on the self so you can then emanate that vibration, and you know, by then you are sharing it with everyone else, and everyone that comes in touch with that thyroidic field will feel that. And if they are working on theirs as well, it's an absolute amazing, beautiful sharing of that love that creates a most powerful resonance. It's all very proven. It's all very amazing and fantastic. And yes, I cannot see the chat in People for People Radio, and appreciate every single comment and reply that has been put. Is absolutely wonderful. Thank you, all of you.
Yes.
Thank you, sister.
You're very welcome. And we have Stone. I'd like to bring Stone in now, Stone Hobbit, and then we'll pass it on to Star and Stefan after that. Go ahead, Stone.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here. You jog my brain, you inspire me. The the like minds of chemicals that are flowing and the energies you're creating are absolutely fantastic. So anyway, it's good to be here on the round table. I really enjoy the different, we were all going with this. It's like we are spiraling and we're picking up speed and the information that we're sharing is, we may not understand all of it at times, but we're taking in this information and we're translating it to what we can work with. Now, I have to say that in the earlier days when I started waking up to this information, it was always service to others before service to self. And through my teachings from people who've come and gone, entities that have come and gone, basically if you don't look after yourself first, you will not have the means or tools to be able to look after the others around you. And you don't want those others always looking after you and picking you up because you don't have the knowledges to look after yourself in the first place. I personally have gone through the stages where I don't want to be picked up by anybody else. This is my journey. This is where I've come to. These are the lessons that I've learned. I don't agree with everything that everybody says out there, but I can see the different stages of learnings and so forth. I mean, I'll be the first one that'll step up and say, okay, I got it wrong in this area, but that's an area for me to continue my learning, my knowledge. Looking at other environments, there's something I missed. I need to go back and repeat it so it's easier for me because of the communications we're having. We've been taught to not put your hand up, not ask questions. You don't want to look like a fool or an idiot or that nerd down the road because you've got interests where others haven't. Once upon a time they burned us as witches or shamans and so on and so on, but we all have this knowledge. We all come out with it at different stages. And these are the labels that we get because of the different stages of our personalities. Everything has been designed to divide us, to keep us broken apart. But when we come together, we unite. Now, the messages that I got just recently in the last 24 hours are, they're sort of, if you know me, I have weird stuff that comes in and I don't know where it comes from, but I will share it and you'll take whatever you need from it, and this is just how it works. Okay, so I started off with last night. I went out and I haven't actually had the opportunity to stargaze the way I did last night, and there were no influences around us. So the Milky Way, everything was clear, but I'll say that there was next to no activity in the sky last night, which for me is something's not quite right. I see so much activity up there when I was in township, and I'm starting to see that the information that we're seeing, we're deliberately being given to see, because until we start coming out and saying what we've seen, they don't start showing themselves. You'll see them every now and then, but then you'll see them, like what I'm trying to say is in the city, you're going to see a lot more because a lot more people are calling them in. There's a lot more activity around the energies that are being sent out there. They're opening themselves up to be able to see what is happening around them, and this is part of the agenda. They want you to see this information. They want you to wake up to the frequencies and the vibrations that are out there. Anyway, going back to the message was basically, look at the words that we've been programmed with. Today I was sitting there and I was vocalizing the frequencies of A-E-I-O-U. Now, I started to laugh straight away because who is it I'm owing? A-E. Who is A-E? So then I get into the frequency of A-E and then I go through the whole steps, the whole notes of it. So it's taken me in another area of discovering what it is and who it is that we apparently owe for the allowance of being able to be vocal. These are all the different areas that they have divided us. Basically, they're going to take down the population, whether we are good, bad, rich, poor, healthy, unhealthy, fit, or otherwise. And, they're doing it. They've been doing it. It's like the migrations of people coming in and all these different divisions to separate who we are from the knowledges that we have through the different forms of incarnations that we've had, knowing that if we're interdimensional species with all these other elements stored with that information within us, we're capable of so much more than what they have told us, led us to believe, allowed us to see when they've put the information right in front of us. Now, I disagreed in an area with the forgiveness that, it is a journey, I will agree. It is a hell of a journey to get to that point, to turn around and say, okay, I'm comfortable enough to, I forgive what the actions were against me, blah, blah, blah. Now, I have gone over that several times, but it keeps bringing me back to another stage. I cannot forgive another party for the actions, the criminal actions that they have taken against my free will and knowing what it was that they took in the first place. I can understand why they came about, their actions of doing what they have done and where they are stuck. I can understand all of that, but if they do not step up to the plate and turn around and admit, yes, I did do that against you, then why should I turn around and give them that allowance of forgiving them their crimes? I'm not going to be coming back and repeating what I've done with the same frequency, energy of any of these beings that have done that to me. It does not mean that I am rotten inside. It does not mean that I'm not capable of the same output, the same energy, the same intensity that everybody else there that wants to claim that they can forgive and in its free will and its free love. That does not work. That does not ripple with me. I will never forget for what I have seen. I wrote a poem, and I can't fully remember, but it goes something like, I cannot repeat for what I have seen. I'll have to find it for you sometime because it's totally gone out of my brain right now. But I'm looking at all the influences and information that are coming in around us, and it's like we need to look at the journeys that you have experienced. Look at the information throughout all of these experiences. You have X amount of people and energy sources that you interact with on an everyday basis. Take yourself out of that picture for 1 minute and have a look at what you have gained and what you have given to that person, that energy exchange right through. Does it make you smile? How does it make you feel? This is all information that we share. How can you change the situation to pick that person's vibration up? It's not, for me, it's like if somebody out there is willing to admit their crimes against themselves and those around them. But this is work that we have to do in looking at who we are. This is one of the stages of self-forgiveness. You have to be able to know who you are, what it was that you've done, how you've affected yourself in your own existence here, before you can turn around and step out there and say, I forgive you for this action or that. You need to be able to know yourself and your own crimes against yourself before you turn around and start forgiving somebody else, because you have a lot of inner work to do there to be who you truly are, to be able to recognize and say, I forgive myself for the actions that I've committed in not being aware, not being on the ball a lot faster. I look at all the different environments and the reasons I was put into the different stages to keep me in stuck states. And I go, okay, now, well, I'm responsible for who I am now. I see that I couldn't be responsible back then because I was still stuck in different stages. I was still in that modality. I was still living in an indoctrinated state of mind and welfare, being cured by the other environments out there, by the distractions and the chaoses and the programmings of how we are meant to survive in this reality. All of that dividing us, giving us the distractions from who we truly are and what we can truly become. Now, I don't know at the end of the day if we're all going to burst out of these meat suits and become something absolutely out there, amazing, some superhero that we can't even describe. But I can say that the energies that I'm getting while I'm here around me with the different natures, the different types of nature, putting off a certain frequency and how we're all inhabiting the same space. Or I'm in a situation now where I'm totally surrounded by all the elements, and I'm feeling myself, my inner light growing. I'm recharging. I can feel it. I can ask a question out there, and there are reactions around me from the elementals. I'm seeing that fear isn't what it used to be for me. I'm breaking those boundaries a lot faster. I'm not taking any more, any more rubbish from anybody out there. It's like, who are they to turn around and do this? I can see that they have not done the work in those areas for themselves, and they continue to perpetrate against others' free wills, and they're doing it unknowingly because they do not know themselves, literally do not know themselves. So at this time when all of these energy forces are coming in, all these different distractions, we need to be able to look at our inner selves, the work that we've done, and find the appreciation in all those little things around you, because those little things are way more important than what you realize they are. We have different senses that are going off the scale at the moment. We are spiraling. There's a big spiral energy that's going around us. There are so many different levels and forces that we are being caught up in. And if we're able to be bombarded with all those forces, just look at how magnificent you as a light energy being is to be able to be here at this time. So anyway, that's my little rant. It's great to be here with all you crazies. I love it. All you star seeds or whatever, little light energy words you want to use for yourself. It's good to be here, and it's, we're getting somewhere now. We're breaking down the program, the veils, it's all there. So rant over whoever's next.
Thank you, Stone. Yeah, it's so good to have you back. I wanted to go to the chat. The chat is alive, and I love this, so I want to go to it before Luca comes on and takes over. But let's get to here. Scrolling up, because everybody is putting stuff in there. Okay, we'll start here. Okay, Laws says, maybe not about forgiveness, but moving on to a different structure that doesn't cause reprisals. Just a thought. We had enough of religious rivalries. Okay. Red says, yes, we need more than forgiveness. Forgiveness can be limited scope, like a man saying sorry and he doesn't know what he's saying sorry for. I think that word, I used to tell my children when they would get into trouble and everything, and they would say, I'm sorry, Mom. And I would tell them, don't be sorry. Don't ever be sorry. If you know that what you did was wrong and you made that mistake and you don't want to make that mistake again, then you stand tall because you learned. And that's the most important thing. Never make yourself feel less than you are, ever. There's no reason for that. There's no reason to beat yourself up. You are beautiful. You were created that way. And you come into this life in that beauty. And it's always with you. But this life is dynamic. It has everything. I mean, this is like a smorgasbord of experience. You can't possibly move through it without doing something wrong. As far as and I don't mean that because it's not really wrong. You can't move through without having negative experiences. That's part of the growth. That's part of the learning. It's part of strengthening your character and your spiritual embodiment. So it's never good to chastise yourself in a way that makes you feel less than. if you feel like you have to chastise yourself, perhaps you should say like, well, that's the third time I ran into that dang wall, so I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to take a left instead of going straight, right? Chastise yourself in that way. Don't keep going straight. Take a left, right? Anyway, I hope I explained that right. But, okay, and then we have, Devon says, yes, forgiveness must be held with vigilance, but I don't connect forgiveness to allowance. Let's see. And then Devon says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And then, let's see. We need to forgive all the time. It is no better one time to just simply understand sometimes. Is it no better sometimes to just simply understand sometimes? I don't know. I think it is better to understand, to see that the mistakes or the errors that you see in other people are simply their way of experiencing life and collecting information so that they can become who they truly need to be. I don't know. That's just my perspective. Law says, understand who we are, but we are subject to mainstream forces stopping us. Nothing can stop us. Nothing. Only we stop ourselves. Okay. And Gaz says, bad spellers of the world unite. Hey, we're all here. We're all here. We're united. Okay. I think that's through there. And Devon says he definitely enjoyed the rant, Stone. And I don't ever hear you ranting. I'm sorry. I just hear you speaking brilliant. Just saying. And I think it's time for Luca. I think he has something that he wants to say.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to rant, but I certainly want to address one part that Stone was talking about that really, really hit me. Hit me enough to write to Patty and say, now, why aren't we talking about this point of view? My point of view is that it takes two. To make a better world, it takes two. To have a good relationship working, it takes two. And I think that this is why the Indian is just turning around and walking away. Or maybe not walking away, but he's sitting down with his arms crossed and he's looking the other way. You know? That's it. Waiting for what? Waiting for remorse, perhaps? Because when there's no remorse, you can't move forward. When there's no remorse, there's no reconciliation. Oh, yeah. The guy who cheats his wife, he doesn't show any remorse. You think the wife is going to keep going, everything's fine, yeah, you're forgiven. I don't think so. Without remorse, nothing moves forward. So this leads me to believe, okay, now I'm working on myself. I'm thinking of love. I'm thinking of prayer. I'm thinking, in the meantime, an apology of theirs without a change of some sort, it's just manipulation. Oh, okay, so while I'm praying and I'm working on myself and on loving, and they're just working on using you a little bit more, tightening that noose up a little bit more, everything negative you can think of. We're actually enabling their behavior by not doing anything to protect the sacred that we have to have protected. Everybody's focusing on love, which is really important, but then, okay, so once you love yourself, now what? Well, they're trampling over the sacred. Oh, they're poisoning the waters. Oh, they're building pipelines on purpose that are deliberately substandard because they get paid when it leaks, or they don't really care. We know how corporations are. We know how government is now. It's even bigger than government, as we know. They don't care. They're actually taking advantage of our inaction and are working on ourselves and, praying and hoping everything's going to go away, but it won't. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. And, the most horrible things that I have seen, writings by Thomas Tibbles that I've talked about many times with Patty and Barb, things aren't going away. They're becoming worse and worse. While we're focusing on compassion and love, the IDF is practicing on little kids and shooting them and laughing at it. The world is literally falling apart. So I'm wondering what my job is in all of this, because I've been working on myself for so long, for over 25 years, and now, I'm looking out the door, and I don't want to go outside. I don't, I'm very happy by myself. I find it a kind of a drop in ego, or a drop in IQ, when I walk outside. I'm not even interested. I'm completely alienating myself because I'm focusing on the love that I'm becoming. And yes, I sit outside and face the sun and meditate. And I see colors like she's talking about, unbelievable reds and yellows and purples, and this is what we need to protect. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't see anybody talking about protecting it. I don't hear anybody ready to sacrifice their life to make changes for the tribe that are going to be important. I'm seeing people that are fakes that are in charge of very powerful tools. I'm seeing less and less diligence and heartfelt behavior. I'm seeing more ego than anything. So it's really good to have shows like this, because that's, I guess, the balance of both is going to be good for the future. I'm not really sure, but that's my message today. I'm floored with the apathy, and because of what I want the world to become. Well, it's working steadily in the polar opposite direction. So I'm not one of those who are just going to sit back and watch it all fall to pieces. I guess it makes you think of the 3%ers, but maybe that's for another show. Patty?
Well, Luca, the thing of it is that I understand what you feel, and it is a sort of desperation that is underlying. It's why we're all here in the first place, because we see these things that are happening. But the reason that these things are happening is because of people, not because of governments, but because of the people, not because of the religion, but because of the people, not because of the education, but because of the people. And the reason why we are in this position right now is because people have been separated from their selves. People have been alienated from that part of themselves that you inhabit and that I inhabit and that the people for people inhabit. If we can't find that place within ourselves to build this ability, then we look at the world and we see it running amok. I can see that the reason why is because they've been separated from who and where they came from, that they no longer have that understanding of self. And until we can bring that about, until we can all see within ourselves that we are beautiful, that we are of love, that we are of peace, that we are of balance, that we are of that higher frequency, there will still be these things out there that we will be fighting, because this comes about from this dereliction of the self, of turning away from the truth of who we are, from turning away from the responsibility that we all carry for being a part of what is going on. And even though we can sit here and we can speak of this consciousness that we have and this love, and we can speak of the power of it and its ability to make change, still, we have to look out there and see that this world will be as it will be, and that we can only make the change that is possible. We cannot go out with a gun or with anger and shouting with sticks and stones and tell people you will change. We cannot do that. That is opposite of what we need to bring about. That we can the only way that we can change things is to change our own consciousness and the way we move through life and how we connect with people. And if we can do so without anger, without hatred, with the ability to look and see why these things are happening, that it's not because people just want to be evil, it's because people are lost. They've lost that connection. And it wasn't done entirely because they wanted to lose that connection. It was done by incrementally putting things, stumbling blocks in the way of self, by living in systems that taught us to be dependent on those systems and less dependent on each other and ourselves. So if we're going to make it a better world, it has to start in the self. And you cannot impose yourself on another being any more than they can impose themselves on you, because you're going to be true to who you are. The only way to make that change is to be the example, to show the way, to show another way, and to speak your truth, no matter what that truth is. You know, we are in a world of hurt. I can see the things that are being done in my world, but I'm not going to give into that fear. I'm not going to give into that degradation, and I'm going to do everything that I can possibly do within myself to make change, a positive change, in any way that I can. But we have to stop short of throwing out that anger and saying that because I can see this, you better see it, because it's not going to work that way. It won't ever work that way. We have to be able to raise the frequency and the vibration, to raise our own self-consciousness, subconscious, our conscious, our spiritual essence, our heart, our minds, all of this within ourselves before we can ever expect any change to come, any meaningful change. If we can meet people with love, and if we can meet people without judgment, and if we can meet people in dialogue, meaningful dialogue, not by saying, look, you got to get rid of that frickin' political bent that you have. You got to stop believing in that religion. That's harming you. Instead of going that way, bringing them back to self, you know, teaching is a tool that we all have and we all do. Every time we speak, we're giving a lesson to somebody. So maybe that's the way we make change. I'm not sure. I don't know how we change the world or if that's possible. I know that it's only important that I change myself, you know, just saying.
Isn't that what both of you grandmothers told me that one time on the show? You know, I wanted to change the world. Oh, well, start by changing yourself. I think it was either you or Barb that said it.
Yeah, and it's not just us. I mean, this is something that you hear replete through people, especially here on People for People Radio. It's always about, we just listened to Lizzie and to Stone, to Star, and to Stephan, and yourself. And the people in the chat who say that it has to start with self. You know, that's where the key is.
Yes. Yeah. And if I may, is it okay if I come in?
Always.
Yes, it starts with self, and awareness is very important, yeah. And I heard what you said, Lucas, and you're very passionate about what you said, and I can feel in your words your pain, and I can feel your passion. But you have to also remember, awareness is very important, and this is not making an excuse for people, what I'm just about to say. But many people do many things out of ignorance. They do not know what they are doing. Yeah. They think they are doing the right thing. They truly believe they are doing the right thing. It is what they were taught. It is what they have learned. It is what it was done to them. And they truly believe that that is the way. So are you, not saying you, pointing at you, but are they meant to be judged and pointed at because they are doing something that they truly believe it's the right thing?
No. It depends what you're talking about.
A big variety of things. That's what we call wrong, yeah? That's what is hurting others, yeah? Yeah, I could pick up on a lot of things, yeah? Yeah?
Yes, it's the elite, it's the Rothschilds, it's the root of destruction that infuriates me, and the damage that they have done to the people.
Yes, but sweetheart, let me just finish what I was saying. Amongst the darkness, yeah, there is always something or someone with a true heart, yeah, that is good, that was born into that, yeah, that is trying to shine, that is good, yeah. But because all it was shown is the wrong path, it becomes the wrong path, yeah. But it is good inherently, yeah. Deep inside, it wants to shine good, yeah. And sometimes it does good, even though it's surrounded by darkness. And there are those that were born on the right side of things, surrounded by good, and they have got a dark shining inside of them. And doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how much you show them, they still become the dark. So there is on both sides always, yeah, a measure of something. So the danger is, yeah, that we become angry, rightly so, for a lot of these things that happen. Yeah, I'm not saying that, this and that has not happened. But what I'm saying is awareness is very important of everything that has been gone on for a very, very, very long time. And that many people have done wrong things because they did not know where else to do. Yeah. And sometimes an allowance has to be made for them to become the love. Yeah. And it's not through anger that we're going to allow ourselves to be stronger in our love, but through compassion. Because we all have walked through the valley of shadows at one point or other in our lives. We all have done the good and we all have done the bad. And so if we walk through the valley of shadows, yeah, don't we want sometimes that understanding that we are one, and sometimes there is something beyond our understanding. It's not all black and white. There's many shades of grays. Yeah? Many, many shades of grays. And yes, I understand your pain. And yes, I can see where you're coming from. And I'm not putting down any of that, yeah? I'm just saying that there is many other tones and shades and colorings that come through, that sometimes in our anger, in our pain, we don't see, yeah? I have walked through these shadowy places and have pulled out many a good people. And they were there, and they were trapped in there. And all they wanted to become good. All they wanted was to do good. But they knew nothing different, because they were surrounded by darkness. So it took one soul to go in there and pull them out. yes, it is okay to be angry. Yes, it's okay to feel all these things. I'm not saying you can't be, hope you didn't get me wrong. It's just to become this love, yeah, you have to just simply be, yeah. And you have to raise the vibration to a certain point, knowing that your vibration and other vibrations like you are going to change things in a most peaceful manner, because the vibration of many in the love resonance changes automatically everything into that what it is. When there's two forces, the stronger force will be the one that resonates. So if we fall into anger, if we fall into all the sort
Despair.
of despair. Thank you. All of those sort of feelings, we are inadvertently empowering the wrong side. Staying strong in the love vibration, and I know it's hard work. Staying strong in that love vibration, all it does is making every single one of us that are in that love vibration stronger. Enough for that field to tip towards us. Yeah. Every time we fall into the anger, it's not right, we're gonna, eye for an eye and all that, we are giving them what they want. And let's give ourselves a chance by becoming strong love. Let's give ourselves a chance by being aware of the power that love is. Yeah. When we feel this pain of seeing what has happened, yeah, heal that pain with that love and say, I will heal this from within. I will heal this by healing myself and making myself stronger in this power of love. Because I know if I stand strong in this power and others stay strong in that power, nothing can overturn that. And just know that anything that is negative knows of that. And anything that is negative will prod you with a stick at the right moment in time for you to lose and to burst that bubble. That's all.
Luca, I want to say one thing too before you speak to this, because I know you have something to say, but I wanted to bring something back to you, a memory. Do you remember during the Standing Rock and the militia men that were hired by the local police to come in and to take over the sacred burial grounds? They were up on the hill and they came down toward the water, and the people were there at the water's edge. And some of the tribal people were angry, and they were yelling, and they were telling the people how bad they were and evil they were. Do you remember that? And do you remember the little girl who walked up to the guy in the military gear and gave him a flower? And do you remember what happened when that man took that flower from her? He was there to cause harm, and when she approached him in love and peace and gave him that flower, he began to cry and turned his back on the people he was with and walked away. That is the power that we're talking about. That is the power of change. That is the power, yes, that truly, truly affects. If all that anger that was being thrown at those men in uniform was being returned like kind until that small child did what she did. Do you remember that incident?
Of course I remember. It was a branch of sage that it was a 2-year-old
Yes.
that gave it to the officer. And I think a lot of it has to do with the child being so young, giving him the branch of sage that made him cower down and made him cry and made him go, fall back, because he was faced with the truth in that strong of a way. Absolutely, I agree with that.
Can I just say, I don't think he cowered down. I think he faced love in his face,
Yeah,
in
well,
the eye. It's not cowering down. He's being touched by love.
His face fell forward and he bent over almost in half. That's what I mean by cowering. Like he had to back off. It's a way of being ashamed of where he was, and and seeing that light, of course. And that's something that most adults are not capable of reaching, because the anger comes out, because the knowledge of history comes out, because of them doing everything over and over again comes out, because of the same thing happening over and over again, because they're taking advantage of us praying and our inaction. Yes, I completely agree.
It's not inaction. It's not, when we pray, it's not inaction. When we are in the power of love, it's not in action. It may seem, but it is stronger than everything else when you actually truly stand in the power of love.
Yes, and that's something else
When
that we
you're
were talking about.
actually staying in that power, yeah.
That's something else that the grandmothers and I were talking about. That if there was real prayer, if there was true connection to spirit, if the spirit was that strong in unity, they would have been able to make the hoses malfunction. They would have been able to make the guns not work. It's on so many different levels that we have to come together in love, as you say, yes, to make it stronger. But even, I'm reading something from the 19th century that's saying how the Lakota are they're a disgrace to the Lakota. It's as if we lived and died for nothing. Your children are being beaten and abused. You're not loving, because we've lost so much of the original teachings, because of what's going on in the world and because of, government agenda. So there's so much to talk about. I'm not disagreeing.
Our people are no different. Our people are no different from the rest of the tribes that have been assimilated. The darkness that sits within our peoples on these reservations is no different than the darkness that is sat with every other tribe, every other race that exists on this earth. That is not the cause for what is happening now. The cause for what is happening now is because we refuse to see the pain and the suffering that causes people to act out in these ways. The pain and the suffering that causes people to forget who and where they come from. The self-pain and loathing that people feel because they feel defeated. This is what we are up against. We're not up against the government. We're not up against the corporations. We are up against the people who have lost their own self-awareness and their own way. This is what we're up against. We cannot fight this corporation and expect change. It will not ever come, because the corporation is not real. It is a fixation. It is a tool. It is the people that we have to reach, the people that we have to say, we love you, we are here, and we are welcoming. We can show you our way. We can help you. We can't throw stones. We can't go and expect to come together and pray and have all the guns stop working, because it won't cure anything.
Yeah.
We have to cure the darkness that has been insinuated into our peoples,
Uh-huh.
you know?
We cannot fight, evil by fighting. Yeah, we can only fight evil, if we don't fight, if we are stronger than it in the power of love, which is not doing what they do, not feeding them what it needs, That itself is a very, very strong, powerful thing. I have seen it. I've experienced, and it's so strong, so strong. We all have it in us. We are amazing beings. We truly, truly are. And I truly can believe that we can change things around in the most amazing way. I have no doubt. It's just a matter of how long are we prepared to wait to actually learn what true love is. Because there's many times we speak of love and we still have not embraced it totally. And we are truly good beings. It's just we've suffered so much conditioning, so much of blindfolded walking through life that we don't even know our senses. We don't recognize who we truly are. So this is why I say work from within, work on yourself. Heal that part of you that needs to be strong. It's just so important.
I want to let everybody know, sorry to cut you off, sis.
No, that's okay, sis, no problem.
I know that we're going over time, guys. We're going to stick around. We're going to get through because to me this is important. We've really touched on something I think is really, really beautiful and important, and I want to carry on, and so do the people on the round table. So I hope you stick with us. But for those who have to leave, I know you might have prior engagements or whatever. I just want to let you know before you go, Barbara Three Crow is going to be doing an hour show, and it's going to be after Stone Hobbit show on Tuesday, which will be 8 p.m. UK, midday Pacific, and 3 p.m. Eastern. She's going to be reading from her books. If you didn't know, Barbara is a published author, and she will be reading from her book, The Return of the Sacred Feminine and Teachings of the Grandmothers in Spirit, A Journey of Mending the Hoop, Personal Life Challenges, Miracles, Battles, and More. It's going to be a brilliant show, and we all know that her wisdoms are truly exceptional, so please join us for that. And now, 1 hour before Stone Show. I'm sorry. 1 hour before Stone Show. So, okay. Anyway, now, Luca, if you have anything more that you want to add, and then after you, I'd like to call Star in to see if she can add something to what we're talking about here. So,
I'd be proud to leave my space to Star and Steph. We haven't heard from them hardly at all.
I know it's been a brilliant roundtable, though, I have to say. Star, are you there?
Yes, hi. It has been a brilliant roundtable. I've been listening very intently, putting my 2 cents into the chat here and there, and I'm just going to read what I wrote up here. I think we all know this already. No matter, let me just read it. We all have the same enemy. No matter who we are, or where we came from, or color, or gender, or the tribe, or tradition. When we truly realize that, then we come together. And on that common ground, and that is what evil, the dark, the cabal, whichever name you wish to apply to it, really fears. Because then everything that has been used against us to divide us, to pit us against each other, to separate us from our own higher selves and our families and our tribes and our traditions and our various cultures. Yes, we're all different. We're all unique. And that's the beauty of all of us. Because it takes all these different aspects of who we are to make us us. But when there is something that is coming against all of us and dividing all of us, all of our cultures, all of our families, taking all of our traditions, taking all of that away, when we can, on any side of this, realize that we all have that same enemy, we all have that same opposing force, then the way to win is not to fight, but to just come together in love and bridge that divide and come back together in unity as one, as within our own selves, healing our own selves, being that change within ourselves. That is how we heal the world. We can't change the world. We can change ourselves. But when we can realize that and come together, then the darkness has no place to be when we're all lit up. I don't know what else to say after that. Just be the love, be the change, as Steph, my twin, always says. Mm-hmm. It's not about fighting. It's the truth. In a spiritual battle, you don't go to fisticuffs. You don't fight. You don't go to war. You speak truth. You stand in truth and in integrity, which means that your eyes, your mind, your hands, your mouth, and your feet are all working in unison together. You're one body working in one direction. Your heart and mind are in one direction. A house divided against itself cannot stand, and that's their ploy. Love yourself, forgive yourself. Do what you got to do to be strong and confident within yourself. And then see others in that way too, with the compassion, knowing that they've had the same battle that you have. And you can't tell them, you can show them. When you show love, when you show compassion, that gets to the heart. And that's where the change has to be.
Steph, you're with us.
I am here. Bruised ankle and all, but yeah, war wound. Wow. Really, really cool show. What I've heard of it. And yeah.
Say something.
I don't know what to say though. It is definitely a spiritual battle. And you can't, and like everyone else keeps saying, you can't fight it. You can't fight it.
You just have to be yourself.
Yeah, and it's personal responsibility for your personal self. And it has to start from yourself. And many will notice that change. Whether they agree with it, whether they like it or not, they will see that you're standing in your truth and you are being what you say you are. You're doing what you say you are. It's not just what you say, it's the actions that you give, whether it's through how you react to others trying to egg you or throw stones, same thing. Don't
react, respond.
Yeah, don't react, respond. In love too. That's hard because where I come from, oh no, if someone did something like that, you get them back. Streets do that to people, but a lot changes. Like I said, I've been to the dark side and back too. And
Stronger for it. It sharpened your sword.
it did.
The truth.
It did indeed. And I coming on, I don't know what to say, and I don't know how to say it, and I don't know how to say how I feel, and it's hard to come out with it. I don't know. It's like,
You can be.
I love you too, sweetie. But, shit, it's all right. We're in a room.
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, you know, the thing that comes through so strong, Luca, is your love and your compassion. That's what you're speaking from, and I can feel that very definitely. It's what causes you to feel this pain and to want to go out there and take hold of it and take that tiger by the tail and skin him and take care of business, you know, and it's frustrating. I know it is, and I know what you're feeling. But know this, Luca, that love and that passion to do good and to create healing that you have within you is more powerful than anything that exists with outside of you, you know, and that is where your power to make that change truly is. And it's not something that is overt. It's not something like you turn the light switch on and the lights come on and you can see in the dark suddenly. When we come from this part of ourselves, from this passion and this spiritual aspect of self, in this love, in this compassion, it is a soft thing. It is not a harsh thing. It is not an explosive thing. It is something that is, it's like a breeze. This frequency that goes out from you, it continues onward. It does. And it encompasses, as long as you continue this frequency, that love and compassion that you have will make its way across the world and even into the universe. It truly will. I know this. And I know that through that, your changes will come about. It may not come in our lifetime. It's okay. It's okay, because all is as it should be. Mm-hmm. The fact that you do the thing that means the most is what is important. And that is to never give up on yourself or the ability of your love and your compassion to make change. Just saying.
I think it's a personal responsibility to go inside to find out what your color is, what you're good at in life, and to dedicate the rest of your life to applying it, to excelling at it. And Sophie Scholl comes to mind, who was executed on this day, whenever it was, I'm not sure what day it was, in 1943, for leading student resistance against Zionist Germany, and she was 21. Her last words were, I mean, I share them all the time. She says, "How can we expect righteousness to prevail when there's hardly anyone willing to give him or herself up individually to a righteous cause? Such a fine sunny day and I have to go, but what does my death matter if through us thousands of people are awakened and stirred into action?"
So, in other words, as long as you are overt with it, the cause is just. It's the same thing that you're talking about that is happening with the extremists who say that the cause is just. So therefore, I can go out and destroy this because my cause is just, which only brings more trouble, more anger, more pain, more suffering. Do you see the difference? When we decide that we will take it upon ourselves to do harm in the name of love. Do you see how that does not equate, that it does not fit? That in order to produce a positive, you cannot enlist a negative. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I see her as a positive because she's in my face right now, and I'm thanks to her and what she did, I'm reading it, and now I can be a seed for somebody else to say, look, true change is impossible if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. For lasting change, you have to get out of the box and do something radically different. She had the nerve, and she followed her own heart enough to know that she was able to, lead an awakening of the people, which is, I don't know, I'm not talking resistance in my case, I'm talking about education. That's my goal. I need to be the one who helps to educate other people on stuff that most people do not have time to get into because it takes 20 or 30 years, because it takes a lifetime of devotion, because, most people are stuck with 2 jobs and 3 kids. So this is what I want to do. I want to be able to educate people on the horrors of the world on one side and matriarchy on the other, and perhaps be a bridge between the two.
Now that's my
thing.
Get on board with. Yes,
that's my thing. Okay, Sophie Scholl.
I misunderstood.
Sophie Scholl gave her life, and I don't know how many times I've said that in my life. I would have given my life for my red brothers and sisters already, but Creator had something more important for me to do, so I have to follow my heart now and find out what that is, and it's It's educating as many people as I can through a show or through talking to people or with people like you guys to show the imbalance in the world. We have to visit the horrors in order to be able to appreciate the difference. There's a fabulous movie called Clear Cut, and the actor says, talking love to the end of a gun that a policeman is holding, it's like the fish trying to talk to an oil tanker.
Not always.
It won't work. We can pray for them, but it won't work. It's 2 different languages. The language of love isn't understood by the other side. That's what this is all about. It's about good versus evil, right?
Well, I don't.
Heart, Luca.
I'm sorry?
That's the heart. The good and the evil is in the heart. How do I explain this? Yeah, you don't talk love to the end of a gun. You talk it to the person holding the gun.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, that picture of that woman in the 60s giving the daisy to the guy who had the gun. She put it in his barrel. Yeah, we'll pray for you, That's something powerful, yes.
Prayer does change things.
Stone, do you have something you wanted to add?
I'm just enjoying listening to what everybody's saying, the different energies that are going on, It's like, yeah, look around you, see what's happening, When something comes in and it makes you angry, or it's stirred your energy or your mind or your physicality in one way, it means that you're having a chemical reaction to either something that was said on a spiritual level, on a mind level, or on a physical level. And, we were once taught to go in with fight and flight because we didn't know any better, and then you start breaking it down. You see the labels, you take away labels, and you see that we all go through these same processes of eliminating, analyzing and eliminating the information coming in. For me, coming from the backgrounds that I've come from, I to this day can't tell you how I managed to get through what I've gotten through, but I've broken down the different stages and finding different ways of coping. The coping mechanisms that we have are absolutely amazing, and if we can take 5 minutes for ourselves each day and see the different areas that we have, the traumatic areas that we've gone through, if you just block it behind a closed door, it's still going to be there at the next day. You can't sweep it under the mat. You can't block it away. It's going to show itself one way or another. If you leave it long enough, it will fester and you will totally lose track of where you're trying to get to in the first place. Now, in saying that, it's like we have to go inside ourselves and discover all the different areas, work out where the hurt comes from, know the feeling stages when they come in. Once you start recognizing the feeling states, you pick up on it faster and faster. You can start eliminating some of the rubbish of, okay, you've got to go through that whole process to get to that stage. So then you start standing there and you start building yourself. You're seeing how much you can tolerate. It's like in the Bible and other areas, other people have said it, turn your cheek. And it's like, how often are you going to turn your cheek if you get whacked in the face? I mean, literally, I'm not going to stand there and just take it and take it and take it. I'll take it once and I'll be eyeballing you. And I will say, bring it, God. If you want to take that next move, that's up to you. But, I'm not going to tolerate it. So by me saying that is I'm building my strengths and my awarenesses, knowing where I can take something, why something is affecting me the way that it is, why my reactions are. And you can see literally it's like it's a classroom for emotional work. You look at the different areas that provoke you, the different levels of provocation and how you're feeling, the different emotional states. When we are in tune with ourselves and understand the different levels that our emotions are capable of pushing us to, I mean, honestly, we can get to the stage where we're sitting out somebody's driveway with the perfect weapon, knowing the absolute time right down to the last dot, because we're intent on taking that person out because they've hurt us in such a way. We can go through those stages, or you can turn around and go, okay, well, I can see that I took myself to that level, and that's not a healthy level to get to. What was it that pulled my strings to the point that got me there? Were they all something that I had developed, elaborated on, built up over the time frame because I didn't know what the other pieces to that puzzle was? Was it something that I built up? Breaking that down, going, okay, well, that I didn't need to go through that, but this is what was created by those parties who I allowed in closest to me, seeing where and what it is that you're allowing in. You allow the vampire in. When I say I allow the vampire in, that's an energy source that's coming in. I know it's going to take a lot of work from me to maintain that kind of relationship or friendship with that person, because all they do is drain me of my life essence. You all know what I mean. We've all got people that do that to us. But once you're able to see what it is, you can either say, okay, no, I'm not having a bar this anymore. I've learned what I needed to learn. I'm moving on and just walk away. Or you can go, okay, well, I can do some work here and I can help these people get out of that hole. But if they don't show you the signs that they're going to do it, are you going to continue to allow yourself to drain that energy to the last point? Your self-sacrifice is huge. You can go out there and you can stand up and you can say, look, where is everybody else? Who else has got my back? Everybody has become afraid of authority. Authority is what has kept us in these shells. We've always been looking for a higher power or a leader or some direction because we've been programmed to believe this is how it is. This is how it is in nature. Nature is a predator-prey environment. It doesn't matter which area you look, as above, so below. It is a predatorial prey society. So when you can see that, there's all this destruction and stuff that's going on out there that does not need to happen. There are ways, there are solutions. We know that those that know this and continue to perpetrate against us, continuing that pattern of destruction and chaos, we know that there's no point in wasting our time in trying to save or help or rectify those people. I cannot say that, someone who has committed A, B, and C crimes over their lifetime is not going to turn around and then say, okay, you can forgive me now because I forgive myself and I promise I'm going to be good from now on. Everybody needs to know and be aware of what others have done to perpetrate against others out there. We need to have our privacy. That's been taken away from us. We have no privacy in any area, any aspect. There should be no murders unsolved. There should be no crimes like that because they have that technology out there. They are watching us 24/7. So that's another stage. You go through all these different stages like, home invasion. What is home invasion? Is home invasion when someone just comes into your home without you being aware, or is they living within your house and in your environment without you being aware? Then you become aware that they're within your perimeter inside your home. And do you actually take steps to go out there and change that from happening? Or do you just continue to let it happen, knowing the information, every single keystroke, every word you say, your facial expressions, everything is being recorded? We know this is all going on, yet we still allow it to continue. How many of you out there are actually doing other work apart from knowing that if they know all your thoughts before you actually speak a sentence, what is it that's private to you? If you know that there's so many synchronicities showing themselves to you, what's going on, who's playing with the cards here, what's going on in this environment. We look at all of these things and think, oh, this is uncanny, this shouldn't be happening here, this shouldn't be happening there. But you generate your energy, you generate what you want to get from it, you generate your directions. If you want to have such and such experience, you may not get it the way that you had envisioned in your head, but you put that energy out there and whatever was available in that frequency showed itself to you. The way that you go through it and you deal with it. I'll turn the cheek once, and then after that, it's no. I see it for what it is. I tell you what it is that you're doing to me, why I'm taking offence, or how it is affecting me. And then if you choose to continue, I walk away without anything said. I don't need to engage in that energy. Now, I've said for a long time, we've got these big corporations out there doing what they're doing to us. They know what they're doing to us. All right, it is already planned and pre-programmed. They've been telling us for years and years, and we are only waking up to it. And the information we wake up today will only be a trickle effect of what is further to come. Every year that when we wake, we go through these different changes, we get stronger in our weak points, as you were saying before, Luca. I basically was looking at all these different levels and stages that we go through. They're like the different levels and dimensions that we've got. We go through okay, what part am I going to focus on this year? Am I focusing on the vessel, the organic vessel, what all the organs need, how it communicates with my environment, what I need to put into that environment? Am I going to concentrate on my spiritual awareness? Discover what my spiritual awareness is in the first place. See how the energies are all connected. Am I going to go into the mind state and have a look at all the different frequency channels or the bases, like what I call my chakras? They're all different dimensional storage banks, and they're all connected. It's all connected. They don't want us to see how connected we are to these energy sources. We are the energy portals. And I was saying earlier on, everything happens in stages. You build up your strength when you know that you have a weakness there. For years I was always called different names as a kid because my eyes changed colour whenever it was an emotional thing that happened. My hair would change colour depending on the location and frequency that I was in. My freckles would stand out or they wouldn't depending on the climate. Different things that people could pick on. And by them picking on it just continually broke me down. And when somebody turned around and paid me a compliment, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take that energy because it didn't seem real. It didn't seem true to me because I was so bombarded in the programming that a negative was actually a positive for me to be able to take. But then, I turn around and I break this stuff down. This happens in stages. There's no one out there who can actually help you do the work. You know, you have to do the work yourself. You have to turn around and deprogram yourself. Start seeing what everything that was said to you. You don't have to go up to the person. I mean, if you're growing up with a family that was very, religious based or programmed based, and then you start following that program, you start breaking out of that program, you go to dinner, you're not eating the same food, you're not wearing the same fabrics, you know that there's stuff happening in the planet and these other people don't want to hear about it. They want to stay stuck in that stuck state. Well, you can try and try, but you come to a stage where you don't try anymore. You just do. You just do for yourself. And then you find that they start doing for themselves. They start seeing that you're changing. You're getting more energy. You're doing stuff that they want to do. And they'll pick up on it. You know, they'll start changing themselves and asking you questions. That's when you know you're actually doing the work. Okay, they then start doing their own work. You know, there's some that you're not going to be able to help. So you just, okay, that was your journey with them. These are the levels of experiences that you've gotten from being involved in that connection, those energies. You know, I look at the family life and the people around me and so forth, and I see how disconnected I became in the belief system of believing I needed to have this family, I needed to perform these services as a female, as a wife, as a mother, so on and so on. And as I got older and I started letting go and stuff was taken from me, I started realizing that none of that was true. I did not need to be put into those situations and become what they all dictated as the normality of what's out there. I could have just spent time if I knew that there was that possibility out there. I did not know. I was not of the knowing that I could have become that. Yet, for some reason, all my life, I was fighting. I was fighting everything that took place. And these are the energies that were in me. And it's like when you're having to cross over all the different dimensions and the reality here, and nobody can hear you but yourself, and everything around you, and it doesn't matter what dimension you're in, you feel that you're being laughed at. You feel that you're being pushed into a dark corner because nobody wants to know. And yet these are different stages of the programming that's been out there telling you that you cannot achieve this, you cannot become this. And these are all different areas that they have divided us by playing huge psychological games on us, distracting us, and then poisoning us on every level. But once we have an awareness of the different areas that they think that they can come in and take control, at the end of the day, whatever the lessons, whatever the work that you've done, you are growing, you are stronger. If you're here in the now, you've come back for a reason. You are stronger than you were last time round. And you don't want to see these repeated patterns over and over again. Yes, you can get absolutely angry at what you see, and that is an energy that you create. As soon as you create that energy, you either go out there and do something about it and get into that mix, into that wave, or the best thing that I can do for myself these days is to hear the angst and see the destructions and know what they're doing. Put myself in an environment, know the different skills I might need to sew somebody's hand up. If the power goes off tomorrow, how many of you will be actually affected by this energy being taken away from you? You know, what runs your you've got your internet, you've got your lighting source, your warmth, everything around you is reliant on another party. If that was taken away tomorrow, how are you going to survive? Or are you going to freeze to death in your bed? You know, I know that sounds horrible, and I might say horrible stuff, but I'm really tired of all this mollycoddling and wrapping us all up in plastic bubble wrap that doesn't do any good for us. And we are the culprits perpetrating these crimes by participating in consuming of these energies out there. We go out there and we buy food that we don't actually need to eat. That's actually dead food. It has no goodness within it for us. You know, it's a form of dumbing us down. We don't know what's in our food. We don't know where our food comes from. At one stage, I was working in the Auckland Museum doing Viking history, living history, authentic as I possibly could, and people didn't know where butter came from. They didn't know how to make cream they didn't know how to turn it into butter. They didn't know how to ground down grain or ears of wheat and corn into flour to make their own bread. They didn't know what a long drop was or a communal dunny. They couldn't bring themselves past their dictation, their teachings. They have no skills whatsoever. Everything is done for them. We have to take back our own responsibility. We are responsible for everything that we do and interact around us. When you walk down the street and once you are aware of the different levels to you, you start reacting and responding to people around you differently. You stop shaking people's hands. This is just a journey that I went on. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but, this is just how I speak. But once I could see that it wasn't just me here, that I had these different layers that I was interacting with, and I could see it on all, there's no point in me doing something out there or getting people out there to do the same if I'm not going to be out there doing it myself. I have to walk the walk before I can talk the talk. I'm not going to go out there and say, don't do this or don't do that. These are your experiences. You get your information from the journey that you're on. Break your journeys down into little segments. You'll see who has given you energy, where you get it from, what you're going to give back to them, all right? And things become more peaceful. You start understanding and hearing stuff a bit differently. You start seeing politics. You start seeing the subliminal messages. You start hearing frequencies and waves coming in. You're going back to nature and you start communicating with your plants, your environment, the soil. You start watching the sunrise. You start feeling a new energy source coming into you. You want to share that with everybody else. Just by walking down the street with a smile or knowing that you have been sun-kissed that morning by beautiful rays of energy that you can transmute into another form of energy and heal yourself, you can pass that around, and before you know it, everybody is starting to generate the better feelings. You can also take the negative energies from people once you get to these different levels, and you can turn that negative into a positive. When people can see their own negatives turning into positives, they can start seeing that anything is possible. Any kind of healing will become possible. It's a matter of intent and feeling for yourself, taking back your mana, taking back your strength, your energy, your knowing, your free will, knowing how some of these stages that they took away from us, how we function, the different levels of emotions, the different chemical reactions and responses, the different spiritual feeling and energies coming in. They all play a role together. We're not alone. This is an entire environment. I'm not saying turn your cheek to everything that comes in. I'm saying stand up for yourself now. It doesn't matter whether you're wrong or whether you're right. You can express yourself in any form that you see fit, as long as you keep one thing in mind, that you at the end of the day will be held accountable for your actions. You are responsible for the vessel that you are in, the learnings and information that are going to come in for you. You can help the others around you and help your environment around you. This is going to make you stronger. I mean, I have to be absolutely, really somehow strong inside me to get through what I've gotten through and see all that crap and just laugh at it. I'm not saying that I'm forgiving any of it. I choose never to forgive. I choose never to forget. I will not be coming back and repeating this journey again. And if I can stop others out there from having to go through the crap that I did, then this is what my journey is about. There's no more closed doors here for information. I don't need to name names, but I can name energies, I can name experiences, how I coped by getting out of this. This is true for all of us out there. We don't need to be reliant on every authority figure out there telling us what to do. We have a new census coming up here in New Zealand. I refuse to fill out the census because this is private information. When they turn around and say it's confidential, what a load of crap that is. There is no such thing as confidential. 1, 2, 3 people have to see it before it gets to 4, 5, 6, 7 before it gets counted. No, sorry, that's not what I'm going to do. They've already got the information because they've already got the technology to see everything I'm doing and know where I'm at. They don't need any more information. So simply, I don't reply. They knock on my door, I tell them to leave. They're trespassing my free will. It's a matter of becoming aware of who you are and what your situations are around you, seeing the programming that they bombard us with on a daily level. How much of it are you taking in, are you using to feed from, or is festering on you? If you're going to sit there and watch negativity constantly, it's going to play an effect on you. You are going to get sick. You are going to go into these darker states. You can't help it. This is the energy bombardment. They know the frequencies. They know the light colors. They know how to affect you on the subtlety of it all. But you also know, because once you start sitting in your own space and hearing the frequencies coming in, you will being able to recognize where they're coming from, the different scenarios that are coming up, because you've already played this all out before. You already have gone through these different stages. If you're here today in this room, you're here because you've gone through so many stages, and boom, this is where you're meant to be. You'll get a bit of information from here for a while, and then you'll move on to the next bit of information. It's frequency all around us. So right now, I'm really enjoying these shows because we are many different people, different species from different locations, with so many different dimensional aspects of knowledge and information being shared right now, which is what they don't actually want us to do. Finding and sharing the darker experiences shows us commonalities, shows us the same areas. Just recently, as recent as it was yesterday, a woman came on and she was asking if anybody had seen a certain specialist, blah, blah, blah. Now, I could not sit idly by and just let this poor woman go through this experience. I've seen the woman that she spoke, speaking about, asking about. So I put up my information. In the old days, there was no way that I would put that out there because I'm going against somebody's name. And there's all these little words that could be used like slander and all of this. That's all rubbish because I know I'm standing within my truth element. I've got nothing to hide from this. This woman was not very polite. She doesn't know the work that she's doing. She should not be classed as a specialist for this government environment. She's perfect for this particular job, but she did not stand true in the words that she was making out to be her job position to me. Her contract was false right from the start. So I allowed this other person to know this information, and I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised, because 2 or 3 other people also knew the material that I put out there, and they put up links for this other woman to go and take a look for herself. So in some aspects, if I had stood there and not said anything, not done anything, I would have hated for this woman to have gone through the experiences that I went through, which took me another 4 years to actually work out what had actually been done to me and why I was still in stuck places when I believed I was doing so much work and I was out of those stuck places. So looking at the different forms of manipulation out there, they use words. Words are energy. Words are vibration, our frequency. When you can turn around and start saying to yourself, well, I thank you for that journey. I thank you for putting in those vitamins and minerals and feeding this planet that, I'm calling home in and on, and the environments around me, the different dimensions, the different entities that I interact with. If I can turn around and say thank you for being part of my journey, then I'm saying thank you, and I'm giving myself the affirmations for I know what I want to see. I want more experiences out there. I want to feel this energy, life force around me because I know there is something way bigger and way more intense than what I could ever feel just in this one little shell. So that's me again. I went too long. I'm really sorry. Somebody else jump in and have a chat.
Well, I just want to say, for those listening in the chat, if you want to hear more from Stone, you can do so. Remember, Tuesday, 9 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Pacific time, she has a show, Transmutation, and it is always just like what you heard. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Stone. And we are coming up to the top of the hour, and I've been told that the wolf must be walked. So this has been a 3-hour show, guys. Amazing, amazing. So glad everybody stuck. Star and Steph had to take off, but we still have Luca here and Lizzie. So I'm going to, let's see, who wants to take it first, Lizzie or Luca? And then the other one can follow. And we'll say goodnight to everybody. And thanks for joining us in chat. And remember, Barb will be on an hour before Stone Hobbit's Transmutation show, Tuesday. Please tune in. She will be reading from one of her books, and it will always be interesting, always brilliant. Barb, she has done some great works. And so, anyway, with that being said, somebody step up, please.
Well, I do have to go very quickly, so let me just bow out gently with very few last words. I really hooked on to what she was saying earlier, and when she hit on the word frequency, I thought it was really interesting, because even that they're trying to screw with our head with, because the frequency 440, the note, the A note, as we know, is really supposed to be 432. Most of you already are familiar with that, and that's something that I'm learning, and I'm actually taking my keyboards and detuning them to 432 to see if that makes a difference, because apparently it does. As far as everything I learn, all the bad things in the world, for me it's the opposite. No, it doesn't ruin my life. No, it doesn't make me a dark person. No, it doesn't give me darker energies. I find the more I delve into the absolute horrors that the truth brings me, not speculation, not conspiracy theories. These are conspiracy realists we're talking about. The more it empowers me, the more it pats me on the back, saying, "Wow, I'm proud of you, Luca, for who you are and where who you've become." And that's actually the gas in the engine for me. It's, how far down you're going to go the rabbit hole. How much are you going to sacrifice of yourself? How much of your talk are you going to walk? And the other thing is being responsible, and having a responsibility towards your knowledge that you have. What are you going to do with it? If you get hit by a car going across the street to buy bread, it's all gone with you. No, I'd like to talk about it and share it with the world, But I think the thing that cements it the most for me is gratitude. Literally living what Tecumseh said, Tecumseh from the Shawnee. The prophet actually said that, if the people who cannot give thanks in the morning, who can't see a reason to give thanks for their own life, the fault lies within them, no one else. And because of their inability to see, and we're waking up every single morning with a choice, either to serve good or evil. And I choose good, thank you. I know a woman who says literally, "I am sick." And she is. Her curtains are drawn in the front at 4:30. She's in her nightgown at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The husband does everything. She's gotten every single, I think she's even got more diseases that we don't even have a name for yet. She's got them all. She's always sick because that's what she says she is. I want to be a bridge for people to be able to walk on gently, knowing that it is truths that they're walking on. It is 30, 40, 50 years of hard research, of sacrifice, so that other people will know what, I've come to learn. That's what this is all about. It's all about giving other people your tools so that the world becomes a better place. It's about educating the innocent and terminating the incorrigible. I'm going to leave on that. I want you to think about that. Educating the innocent, but terminating the incorrigible in your life. And I really want to thank everybody for the chance to talk and to listen to new people and new blood and new energies and new vibrations, like everyone was saying. It's simply awesome. Thank you so much. Got to run.
Love you, Luca. Thank you
Love
so
you too,
much.
dear.
Talk to you soon. Okay, and I think Lizzie's out there somewhere. Are you there, Lizzie? Are you still with us? Perhaps, maybe, while you find that unmute button. And let's see. Yeah, I see her on there. She's still here. I just want to give thanks to everybody in the chat for your wonderful participation. You guys make it all worthwhile for me. And I want to thank the panel members also. And congratulations to Stefan for finally getting across the line. Go ahead, Lizzie.
Hello? Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I don't know. Technology, we love it. Yes, it's been a wonderful, wonderful night. I appreciate everyone's sharing. It's been wonderful, beautiful, riveting, exciting, from the heart, emotional, true, and that's what we like. That's what we do. We share from the heart. We share all we do, all we feel, and the hope and the knowing that it is changing, it is getting better. We may not see it sometimes, we may not feel it sometimes, other times we do in our hearts, and we also see some change literally. But here we are, all together on a wonderful love table. And I'd love to be with all of you. Thanks, Patty, Stone, Luca, and everyone that was with us tonight on the table and on People for People Radio chat room, and everyone that listened in. It's just wonderful. We are a great big family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love.
Okay, and with that said, okay, there you went. Okay. Nope, still got to echo. Okay, I think it's done now. Stone, if you wanted to have one last quick thing to say, otherwise, we will say good night to everybody, and thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, Stone's show will be on Tuesday, and so will Barb's an hour before Stone's. Make sure you're there for both, because they're both going to be brilliant shows. Anyway, Stone, you have anything last words, or are we ready to go?
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who makes this show possible, and thanks to everybody in the chat room who comes and shares, like-minded information. It's great. It's really awesome place and good vibes. I really enjoy it. So thank you again for everybody's experiences, and I really do appreciate the different journeys and how deep we have to reach within ourselves to share some of this information. So thank you again to everybody out there who shares their information and brings it forward so we can move forward. And safe journeys, and be well, everyone.